The British Prime Minister David Cameron is in the United Arab Emirates on a two-day visit to 3 Gulf countries. His aim is to persuade the UAE, a key trading ally, to buy 100 Typhoon fighter jets worth almost $5 billion. But campaigners say that in the push for big business, he must not ignore the issue of human rights. More than 60 human rights defenders have been held without charge since the start of the year. Well, let's get the other side of the arguments. I'm joined by Rori Donaghy, who's campaign manager for the Emirates Centre for Human Rights based here in the UK. Why is this important when there's big business at stake?
This is important because we can't compromise our values for the value of trade. When we've seen 63 people, as you said, held, including human rights lawyers, judges and student leaders, held without charge, incommunicado and unknown location because of their calls for democratic reform. They've been tortured and some have been held as enforced disappearances over the last 7 months. We've seen the European Parliament condemn the human rights abuses in the UAE over the past 2 weeks.
Well, let me quote to you what the Attorney General, Mr. Kubaish, has said, that he says that they were arrested for managing an organisation with the aim of committing crimes against state security.
Well, there has been no evidence brought forward for that.
Neither have they gone to court yet either.
They haven't gone to court, no charges have been brought against them and no trial has happened. And over the last 7 months, they have been tortured, and any confessions that have been given would have been given under duress. And we've also seen the closure of a German pro-democracy think tank, as well as the National Democratic Institute in the UAE, proving that they have some of the strictest repression of freedom of speech and association in the region.
What is your message, therefore, to someone like David Cameron, the British Prime Minister, when he's trying to generate $5 billion worth of business?
It will be the same one that the European Parliament sent out last week, which is that bilateral trade should not come at the behest of our values, and that bilateral trade should be about shared values, and protecting fundamental human rights is important regardless of any money involved.
How would you summarise, and I'm quoting from the European Parliament there, expressing great concern about those political activists, civil society actors who peacefully exercise their basic rights to freedom of expression, opinion and assembly, because there are certain legal norms in the Emirates, and shouldn't people like that maybe respect them if they want to be in a place like that? That's what they would say, the UAE government.
Well, these people signed a petition calling for a wholly elected parliament that would have legislative control over the lawmaking process, and that seems perfectly reasonable. They've been held for those reasons, and we've also seen liberals and secular-minded people alike attacked for those views, and that is just a fundamental abuse of human rights on any level.
When the European Parliament calls for the authorities in the UAE to halt the ongoing crackdowns immediately, what kind of response have you detected from the UAE?
It's been one of a smear campaign against those held, respected men who are human rights lawyers and judges, as I've mentioned. They have refused to speak publicly about the allegations of torture, which have been documented by Human Rights Watch, and they refuse to put them on trial, holding them incommunicado for months on end.
Rori Donaghy from the Emirates Centre for Human Rights, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.